I used to be the kind of person who was really, really careful to not ever offend anybody and to always be as inclusive as possible. And I think part of the reason that that's kind of how I've been for pretty much all of my life up until a new point I've come to is because I kind of never really felt very included myself. I wasn't ever like bullied or anything like that, but I always felt kind of out of place in the world. And that's why I think I've been such an agreeable person who has kind of changed myself and certain things that I feel I'm here to say. I've been hurt so many times by the things that happen in this world that it takes a lot of courage for me to sometimes even walk out the door, to even make eye contact with someone at the grocery store. You know what I'm talking about? We want to hide because it hurts. But it's the very fact that it hurts that we need to rise up. In our lives, it must happen first. What I mean by this is that we cannot accomplish anything for our community or for our world or what it is that is God's plan for us until we first apply something that is so practical and so obvious in our personal lives, right? We cannot go out and preach something to the world. We cannot go out and do something in the world that we have not first honestly done for and with ourselves. And that is to, instead of turning away from the pain, instead of just hiding at home because of how much it hurts to be in this world sometimes, we need to face it. We have absolutely got to face it. And you might say to yourself, well, Nathan, which, by the way, I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Nathan, if you happen to be new here. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? So you might say to yourself, well, Nathan, like I go outside my door every day and I talk to people. I'm a very charismatic person. I'm working on accomplishing my dreams, whatever. So that's great. But I think part of the way that a lot of us hide from this pain, this inherent pain within us, and I can't say that every single person in the world feels what I'm talking about, but I really think they do. I really think they do. I think every single one of us, if we really looked, would see this incredible pain within us. I think everybody feels it. I can't prove that, but I really think everybody does. Here's why I think most people don't realize that they feel that, though. We avoid it by intensely focusing on achieving our goals. We decide that what gives our life meaning is we must accomplish something great. We must build some mega business or get our name out there or have our family pat us on the back. Good job, you've done so well here. Or I know a lot of people take drugs. And our society has gotten really good at convincing itself, oh, smoking weed's not taking drugs. Oh, drinking multiple cups of coffee every day is not drugs, right? Binge watching shows and plowing foods into our mouth when we're not even hungry, that's not drugs. Look around you. Who do you know that is not self-medicating? Look in the mirror. Who do you know that is not self-medicating? Why? Why are we all self-medicating? Because of the pain. People self-medicate in different ways. They pour themselves into their jobs, their relationships, pursuit of goals, money, taking actual drugs, watching shows, playing video games every free chance they get. Self-medication. Stop lying to yourself. That's what it is. So I'm somebody who's recently come to a place in my life where I am done self-medicating. And I really mean that. I really mean it. I can't anymore. I cannot put Band-Aids on a wound that has become so large and so festering and cause so much suffering and unconsciousness and pain in my life, and I make so many mistakes in my life because of all the Band-Aids, because of all the self-medicating. So here's where my insight comes from. I am a sober person, and I'm paying attention. This is where my insight comes from. Not a prophet, a sober person. What does this mean? I'm not self-medicating. I'm not trying to hide from it. I'm not taking or doing anything to cover this up. And I see, where is this wrongness in the world that is hurting us so much? Where is it coming from? This is the kicker. It's coming from us not being willing to see what we are actually doing in our lives. Why aren't we seeing it? Because of how we are self-medicating. Let me put this in another way. The problems in the world, when we look around us, that are hurting everybody, is coming from the fact that people are hurt. Someone who is hurt is spreading hurt. Somebody who's bullied at home is bullying at school. Look around. We are hurting one another because we are hurt ourselves. It is this constant cycle. What do we do? God, I don't know. God, I don't know. But I'm listening. And I'm open. And I'm paying attention. And the perks of being a sober person, which for me is a phrase I'm making that goes far beyond just not taking drugs. I feel I've already expressed that. For me, being a sober person, I know God is real. It's not because I'm high. It's because I'm here. Because I'm looking. God is real. And God loves us so much and is just cannot get our attention when we are self-medicating. Can't. God cannot get our attention. You will not hear God. You will not hear God's solutions. You will not hear God's plan for your life. We will not see a resolution. We will not see a resolution. Not in our lives, not in our community, not in the government, not in the world. We won't. We have to do it in our own lives first. We've got to. We have to have the courage to be sober people. That takes a lot of courage in this world. Why? Because this world hurts. Because people are cruel. Things are cruel. It's easier to self-medicate, I know. But nothing's going to get done and nothing's going to change. And a lot of the people who are making changes in the world are doing so from heavy self-medication, meaning they're pumping themselves up with beliefs that make them feel powerful, with drugs that give them false sense of confidence and false chemical energies. And these are some of the major people out in the world that are making the biggest changes. And it's creating unconscious changes because it's not coming from true God. It's coming from their ego pumped up on their self-medicating. So we need to understand that we cannot be a solution in the world while we ourselves are self-medicating. And we need to recognize this, and we need to be willing to move past it all. And I know how hard it is. I feel an immense pain. But there's something really strange I don't understand, and that's that when you're not trying to cover up the pain, when you're present with it, there's a lot of tears that come. I've been crying a lot lately. But it is like, it's beautiful because it's real. It's honest. I think if we all stopped medicating and we really looked around at what we've been doing as a collective, we'd be like, yeah, we would all be crying. We'd be like, how could we have let this happen? How could we have become so unconscious? How could we have had our heads so far up our butts to have created what we've created in our lives, spread to each other? We've hurt ourselves, we've hurt each other, we've hurt the planet, we've hurt so far beyond just these things I've mentioned. All because we ourselves are hurt, but instead of being honest and dealing with it, we self-medicate and pretend like we're not, and we spread unconsciousness. Here's something I want to say. Here's something I want to say to help really drive home the point that you cannot hear God well. you're self-medicating. And I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I take psychedelics all the time, I smoke weed, you know, I take this, I take that, and it brings me peace, it connects me to God. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I know. I've been there, my friend. More than you could possibly imagine. I've been to rehab, taken pretty much any drug you could possibly list, minus like one or two. Well, actually, they come out with so many new drugs now. That's probably not a true statement, but I've taken a lot of drugs. I've had relationships destroyed. I've had careers destroyed. My health destroyed. What I'm trying to say is most of the stuff I was taking were things I had convinced myself were totally not drugs, right? No, psychedelics, they just connect you to God. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Here's what happens. Here's my point. And you can be offended if you'd like to be. Or you can be present and really consider what it is that I say to you, because a true consideration could completely change the direction of your life. How? Well, instead of your life constantly tripping and falling and slapping your face and having sometimes things go your way, sometimes things not, instead of that, you go on a path of true success. Why? Because you are now really living in alignment with God. Because you're really able to hear, you can see, you have clear sight, clear heart, clear mind, everything clear. You're actually here paying attention. So you don't trip anymore. You don't fall on your face because you can see, you understand? And again, I'm not a guru, I'm not a master of this, but I'm honest. While we are self-medicating on all of that stuff, not just the drugs, everything I've mentioned we do to avoid this pain, what ends up happening is it's like pulling a veil over our face. It's like pulling a veil over our face or putting on colored glasses. So we're not really seeing the truth. We're not really seeing life. We're not really seeing our lives. We're not really living our true life. We're not really living in a true reality. We're not really dealing with the truth. We are seeing it colored in a way that makes us feel safe and comfortable, that makes us feel like, it's okay. You see what I'm saying? So what happens? It gives us a false sense of comfort. It gives us a false sense of well-being that everything's okay. Open your eyes. No, it's not. And you know that. I know that who you really are knows that. I don't make this video with the intention of offending anybody. I make this video because I've come to a point in my life where I can no longer be silent. Wake up. It's not all okay. Stop self-medicating and you'll see that. Here's the benefit. Now you can actually deal with it. Now you can actually show up clearly in your life. Now you can hear God. You can't hear God when you're self-medicating. You can't. You hear these false beliefs. Maybe you hear some things trying to get to you because God never stops speaking to each of us. God never abandons us. It's not that God's like, oh, they're high, or they're binging shows right now. I'll check back later. No, God's still there, but it's muffled because you've got this blanket over your head. You've got these colored glasses on. You're like, oh, everything's going the way I want it to. If I just keep believing, if I just keep fighting for it, I'll achieve my dreams. So what if you achieve your dreams? I got pretty damn close to achieving mine. And I really got to tell you, it is so unfulfilling. It's not all the hype on the media. It's not like it makes it seem like you want to be a celebrity, like you want to be a huge success or whatever. It's so hollow and empty. It so means nothing. I get recognized all the time. And that's a true statement. That's not me saying that to seem cool. I get recognized all the time. I even got recognized here in LA the other day, which I never thought would happen because it's so huge here and most of the people here I wouldn't think would be interested in what I talk about. Somebody recognized me at the grocery store. It means nothing. Now, if you're any of the people I bumped into that have been excited and grateful toward me for what I do, I don't mean that you mean nothing. I don't mean that your appreciation and gratitude for me means nothing. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's not fulfilling to who we really are. It doesn't matter how many people are screaming and cheering my name, and it doesn't matter how many people are booing it and hoping for me to fall. And trust me, there's people like that out there. A recent change in my life proved to me that actually many people I thought were my friends were really just hoping I would fall. And that was baffling to me, and it caused me to feel so much pain to see how some people would behave. People that you would think are your friends, but here's the point. People only do things like this because they're hurting, because they've got glasses on, they've got blankets on their heads. I had a blanket on my head, I had colored glasses on. I don't blame anybody. Anybody that's ever hurt me, I don't blame you. And everybody I've ever hurt, and I've hurt so many people without even realizing, I'm sorry. I really am so sorry. But I think that we're at a time now where we need to really snap our fingers, sober up, and come at life in an honest and real way. Because most people are fighting for a future that they believe everything will be better in, and it never does get better. Maybe you improve your finances. Maybe you meet somebody that is also attracted to you and wants to be in a relationship. Maybe you achieve your dream job or whatever. You know, maybe you work out for years and years and get that body of your dreams, and it's like, cool. But it doesn't really matter. And if you don't believe me, if the true you that I know is here listening right now, if that part of you that I know, you know what I'm saying is true, these things do not matter. Our society, our media, it's all brainwashing and tricking us to run on the hamster wheel and keep spinning the wheels of the unconscious world that we have co-created and collaborated in. You and I have taken part. We need to snap out of it. These things will not bring fulfillment. They are lies. None of it will. And when you see people smiling on TV and they are giving off this vibe, I've got it all, I've got it made, I'm fulfilled here by my program. I mean, come on, pay attention. We need to wake up. There's something that we're not seeing, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see it yet. But what I am seeing is clarity and seeing in myself an openness to receive God and hear God. God, what is your plan for my life? I have this new catchphrase I'll share with you. I say it all throughout the day. It sends shivers through my body and ripples energy through me that is incredible. I've taken all the psychedelics and all the things that people are like, man, those states of bliss were the best. They're nothing compared to what I'm experiencing right now in my life. Even in all the pain. And I'm not just making this up. I'm not selling you anything. It's the truth. Here's my catchphrase I say. If it is your will, then it will be done. If it is your will, then it will be done. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to God. If it is your will, it will be done. I'm sorry for how long I spent in my life not listening and ignoring and thinking I knew best. I didn't. I never have known what was best. All I've done is, some good here and there. Yeah, we all do. But we're in pain and we need to admit that. And we need to understand that when we are in pain, we spread pain to others without realizing it. And when we put Band-Aids on and we self-medicate and we get ourselves into these states where we're pretending and lying to ourselves that we're fulfilled, and then we present that, I'm fulfilled to others, follow me, do what I'm doing, we're just lying. We're not helping anybody. We're just misleading people. We need to wake up. I do not fully understand what that means, and I want you to know that. I don't fully know what it is that I'm calling you to do in this video other than to get sober and turn to God, because I don't know what the answer is. I don't. But God doesn't want me to stop making videos. That is so clear. I think it's pretty obvious that the way that these videos happen is coming into a different place. That's because I'm not speaking from a place of what I want. I'm not speaking about my desires or helping you to get yours, because it's all bullshit. It doesn't do anything. That's not really what we're looking for. There's a thirst within us, and No matter how many glasses of water we drink, no matter how many of our desires we fulfill, we get thirsty again. But there's a well that you take one sip from and you never become thirsty again. Spiritually, a true filling within you. How do I know? Because I'm paying attention. And I'm not claiming I've had a sip from that well, because I don't know yet. I'm paying attention and I'm listening. But something has changed in me. Something has changed. Something has really changed. Something has really changed. Something is really changing. It's changing. And I surrender to God's will. God knows. I don't know. We don't know. We need to admit that, and we need to be willing to turn to God to be who it is that we really are. And who we really are is not an idea we come up with. It's not a reality we create for ourselves. That's not really who we are. That's all unconsciousness in the New Age movement, pretending to be consciousness and tricking people into thinking they're spiritual when really all they're doing is stroking their ego and trying to fulfill their desires. That's not spiritual. What are you talking about? And I'm saying this, I was doing it for a long time thinking I was spiritual. No, I'm just a giant ego pretending to be spiritual. We need to snap out of it. We need to wake up. We need to realize we got to surrender to the truth. We got to be willing to live by the truth. That's where the liberation is going to come from. I don't know what the liberation is yet, but I'm free from my nonsense that has been sabotaging my life for nearly 27 years. I'm free from it now. And I'm here today making this video because turn to God. Turn to God. If you know somebody that you feel this conversation would benefit, or somebody that you just know would like it, thanks for sending it their way. It really is the best thing you could do to support the channel and the videos we make. So much love to you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you there.